Hey everybody, good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well today. And I think I got to talk a little bit about this one. As some of you guys may noticed, I've kind of laid off on the videos over the last week or so because I've been sick. So some of the videos that I normally would have made never got made. But I think that there's enough interest here, and I've gotten enough requests to where it makes sense to make a video about this before it becomes uninteresting for us to talk about, because this is the kind of thing that you hear about and then it's interesting for a little bit and then it doesn't happen for a few days and then it becomes uninteresting. So may as well go ahead and talk about it a little bit right now. I will admit that I view this as being highly unlikely. In fact, this kind of strikes me as just something that gets thrown out there knowing that it has a very low chance of happening, but it gives us something to talk about. Be right back, 1 minute. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you about Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat on sports games in real time with other users. You can get the fastest scores, blazing fast sports news and sports alerts right at your fingertips. And of course, you can use Sleeper to play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. This is the way sports were meant to be enjoyed together. So download Sleeper today. Use promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And you can pair that with another promo they have right now where you can get a $20 entry free with no deposit required. So get both of those things going. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper today, get to it, and go have some fun with sports this year. All right, welcome back. So the gist of this rumor, this is a pretty significant trade proposition that is being tossed around. I think the original source was Tony Pauline, but you can see that Sleeper has reposted it on their X account, actually. Shout out to Sleeper. But the particulars would be the Seahawks making a pretty significant trade based around Woolen and other draft picks or maybe other players for Dolphins running back Devon Achane. I believe Achane is how you pronounce it. But yeah, that is the general structure of the trade. Now, the original statement does specify that Achane would still need to actually become available, and that hasn't happened yet. So that almost kind of feels like you're shutting it down initially, but let's get into it. So, first of all, I don't really buy this one as being anything other than just a dart throw at a dartboard. It doesn't strike me as the kind of thing that's likely to happen. And for whatever it's worth, not that this is necessarily a deal breaker, I don't believe that Woolen would have any real value to a team like the Dolphins right now. He is in the final year of his deal, and Miami is a team that is obviously looking to do a little bit of a rebuild. They're probably going to be done with their head coach. They the next head coach they bring in might not be into Tua, so that'll be a big thing to move off of him. And they have a GM that's been there for about a quarter century and hasn't done anything yet. So it's like, that's a team that if they were to move one of their best young players would be doing so for players that they imagine are going to be on the team for a while, or assets that they're going to use to get a player in the future, like draft picks. So I don't think Woolen has any value to Miami. He's a player they would get for the rest of this season and then probably not re-sign. And what's the point? Miami's 1-5. They're one of the worst teams in the league. I don't know why they would want Woolen. I think if there is a Woolen trade, it's to a team that either would then prioritize re-signing Woolen, or a team that is trying to compete right now and needs a cornerback, or both, maybe both. A team like the Cowboys that is still trying to win this year and now has some money freed up that they could spend on a guy like Woolen, something like that. So I don't know if I buy the Woolen element. Now, you could still put together a sizable draft pick package for Achane, but I have to ask on this front, why? Why would Achane be the guy the Seahawks covet in a trade right now? So, no disrespect to Achane, who has been really, really good since he was drafted into the NFL in the third round a couple years ago. He has been everything that Miami Dolphins team could possibly want. He has been ultra efficient. His speed is otherworldly. He's a tremendous receiver out of the backfield. Like he is a great running back. He is one of the best running backs in football, and you can see why he is coveted. And there are going to be teams out there that would love to have him. And honestly, I think that he's so good and still young, by the way. Remember, he's only 24 years old, that I don't think Miami would move him, even if they are planning on kind of flipping things over at the end of this season. But what would this do for the Seahawks? I have to ask that question. I mean, again, great player. Better than any running back we have, sure. But is the problem with this Seattle offense's running game that their running backs don't have enough talent? Is the issue, does anybody out there think that this Seahawks rushing attack is poised to be dominant, and the problem is that Ken Walker and Zach Charbonnet aren't good? I don't, maybe some people do think that. I certainly don't think that's the case. I think those two guys are good players. I think they're two very different players. And neither guy's been great to start the season, although Walker's clearly been a much, 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 much better. But Walker hasn't been great overall, and he hasn't been ultra reliable. Achane, or I'm just going to go with Achane, but Achane, he is better than either of those two guys. But is he going to be the spark that suddenly makes Seattle like some elite rushing team? I don't think so. I think that you put him in there instead of Walker. Let's say you throw Walker into an Achane trade. Let's say you throw Walker, or maybe you do a separate trade where you get rid of Walker and you just replace Walker with Achane. Maybe things get better, but you're still going to have a lot of the same problems, because the problem is with the run blocking, is with that offensive line. You're still putting Achane behind Anthony Bradford, Jalen Sundle, to some extent Zabel, although I think Zabel's certainly been better than those two guys, but he still makes rookie mistakes. And that, to me, is really the thing that needs to be talked about. Not, oh, we need to upgrade the talent level at the running back spot. No, we need to upgrade in front of the running back. I think Walker would do a lot of the things that Achane does if he had better blocking. Charbonnet would be better. They're completely different players, but, Charbonnet would be a lot more effective if you gave him better blocking. So, for me, I don't know how this guy makes anything all that better. I think you'd still have the same problem of a lot of negative rushing plays or rushing plays for no gain, because up front things don't get better. And while Achane is very young, like I said, he actually just turned 24, I think, a couple days ago. Yeah, he just turned 24 a couple days ago. The thing is, he is about to want to get paid, and I don't know if you want to play the second contract to a running back game. If you trade for Achane, you're probably then not immediately, but you're planning on extending him at the end of the year. And you're probably looking at giving him a pretty close to record-breaking deal. I mean, look what he's done so far in this league. Had almost 1,000 yards on 130 touches as a rookie. Last year became the featured back and had almost 1,500 yards, just about 1,500 yards from scrimmage on less than 300 touches, about 280 touches. So far this year, averaging over 5 yards a carry. Been great out of the backfield as a receiver. Like, this is the kind of running back that could demand 15 mil plus a year. Do you want to be the team that gives any running back, even a really, really good one, 15 million a year? I don't know. But something tells me that is probably what it would take. And I don't know if I need to be playing that game, especially when I know I'm not going to get the most out of him, because look what I got in front of him. Look what I got on the offensive line. So, I don't know. I'm not really feeling this one. There's obviously upside. He's better than any running back that we have, but I don't buy it, and I don't buy that it would be everything that people think it would be in this offense. All right. Let me know what you think down below. I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. Wanted to talk about this for a few minutes, even though I don't think it's going to go anywhere because there's a lot of intrigue around this right now because, hey, it gave us something to talk about, but I don't think it's going to go beyond that. All right. See you guys later. Go Hawks.